Hey, Intuitive Soul Tribe. Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to dive into the collective energy. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, collective. I am really excited to share with you some of the messages that are already coming through in this reading. Now, as you know, I always open up that portal of energy and ask Spirit, what do we need to talk about today? What are we focusing on? And immediately, I heard Jelly Roll's lyrics, "Somebody Save Me, Me from Myself." So the messages that were coming through have to do with strengths, challenges, perhaps the emotions around shame, regret, resentment, or even addictions. For those of you who have really struggled in the last year or so, I feel like there's an important message for you in this reading. If you're currently facing a challenge, or if you feel like you're about to face one coming in, that's what we're going to dive into here. And in that song, it's not about being rescued per se. It's about you tuning into your own inner strength. And I was seeing the years 2024, 2025, and 2026 in the vision. And we are in an 8 collective year. 2024 is an 8 energy. In tarot, the major arcana for number 8 is the strength. So this year may have brought about a lot of fears, right? Fears for us to face. It may have brought about energies of transformation and difficulties that we had to face overcoming transformation, which can be loss, which can be, death even. And I'm also getting self-doubt. Some of you have doubted your path, doubted your gifts, or doubted your life path. And I feel like this is the year where you've really faced some challenging struggles within you, or even in your external life, and even on a global energetic level. There's been a lot coming in 2024 here that you're still facing, right? And we actually have the 5 of Cups showing up right away, which can be disappointments. You've gone through a lot of disappointments here. But 2025 is a 9 year. 9 in tarot is the Hermit. And what I heard when I seen the 2025 was wisdom. And that's what the Hermit represents, is wising up. It's using our wisdom to not get distracted by the outer noise. Okay? The Hermit energy is about enlightenment. It's about introspection and going within. So whatever trials and tribulations that you have been facing here, trust that they're not for nothing. They're going to help you moving forward. That's what we're going to look at today, is what kind of strengths have you shown in the past? What is a strength that you can always rely on? What is a strength that maybe you're not aware of? And what challenges are you currently facing, or you could currently face coming up into the future? And what do you need? What kind of strength do you need to help you manage through that energy? So I feel like this is going to be a collective reading that helps you see things from a perspective of somebody save me, but it's going to be me. It's going to be me saving me, because I am the only one who can, and when I say this, it's you saying this to yourself, right? You are the only one who has control over your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your responses. No one else. Yes, they can persuade, they can manipulate, they can coerce, but you are taking responsibility here. And that is your greatest strength. One of them is to be able to have the willingness to make choices that feel strong, but also to understand that sometimes the choices that we make, just because we don't see the results that we had hoped or wanted to see, it does not mean that your intuition led you astray. And that's a common energy I see so often, where people tend to shut down, or they tend to say, I can't trust my intuition because that choice was not the right one. But maybe it was the right choice according to the divine plan. And sometimes we don't always remember that divine plan. We have spiritual amnesia when we come here on earth, right? And it's up to us to find our way back to ourselves. That's what the message today is all about. So what kind of strength have you shown in the past? First of all, you have the Five of Cups here. Now you may be saying, Mel, how does the Five of Cups show up as a strength? Because this is heavy. This is emotional loss. It's mourning. Mourning a death, mourning the life that maybe you thought you would have, mourning a person, a relationship. It is betrayal, disappointment, bitterness, self-pity, even depression. The greatest strength that you have shown in the past, collective, is that you've allowed yourself to sit in this energy, because each and every one of us are going to be disappointed. We will have some sort of loss or hurt or betrayal or ending. But the greatest strength that you have shown is that past pain recedes. Hope emerges. That if you look back on some of the massive disappointments or loss in your life, you've made it through. You will always make it through. Even the things that you thought you'd never come out of. Even the disappointments that have been so heavy and so hard that you felt completely broken. How does this make you feel? Some of you, it makes you feel exhausted. It makes you feel tired. You may be thinking, Mel, I just want to be wrapped up in this blanket. I want to be cocooned, right? I want to be loved. I just want to heal all those pieces. And you have to remember here that life is like a roller coaster. There's highs and there's lows, and we're going to have emotions. Some of you are highly emotional, sensitive individuals. That is a strength. That's a strength. Some of you may think, Mel, having all these emotions does not feel like a strength, because sometimes those emotions can be very heavy weighing upon you, and it can bring in depression. It can bring in anxiety. I'm getting the message here of some of you getting off of some medication. Maybe you were on some depressive medication. Some of you have gone through some dark nights of the soul. You've dealt with tragedy. You've dealt with possibly people who suffered mental illness, maybe yourself. You have come a long way on your journey, collective, a long way. Can you pat yourself on the back because you've came out of it? And even though I'm getting a picture of the footsteps, the Jesus footsteps picture that you see, and the whole conversation of, well, Jesus, where were you? Right? I don't know the exact story, right? But it's, where were you? And it was, I was carrying you the whole time. So you've been carried, right? You have been carried here. For some of you, you may have even had someone, possibly a mother or a grandmother or great-grandmother, who was very religious, or perhaps you were brought up as, I'm getting here Catholic, but it could be any religion, take it as it resonates. Some of you, I feel like you are very in sync with the moon as well. This could be one of your greatest strengths. Check out where maybe Pisces, I'm getting Pisces energy here for you. Where is Pisces in your chart? Of course, I mean, the water element could be Scorpio as well. It can certainly be Cancer, but I'm getting strong Pisces. And I do feel like some of you are meant to work with the moon. Okay, the new moon, the full moon. Maybe you're looking into your astrology chart, or you're looking into the things that, you know, bring you emotions, all different kinds of emotions, not just the main three that we think of: happiness, sadness, and anger, right? You're looking at emotions from, you know, a greater scale. So again, your greatest strength is to sit with something when it's heavy, when it's painful, but you always come back. You always come out of it. And even though at times it feels like you leave little bits and pieces behind, you're being carried, right? Maybe it's Jesus. Maybe it's, you know, whatever your higher power is, okay? Whatever your higher power is, there is something here greater within you. And I feel like you can trust that you're not alone. All right. What is a strength that you can always rely on? Let's look at that here. What is a strength that you can always rely on, collective? The moon. I told you the moon was significant here for you. And here is that Pisces energy. Okay. So what can you always rely on? Well, we talk about anxiety and you're like, Mel, how the hell am I going to work? How is my anxiety my greatest strength? Well, what is the opposite of anxiety? The opposite of anxiety is trust. Because a lot of times when we do not trust, that is what gives us anxiety. That is the opposite here. Or I should say what aligns with anxiety is fears, is illusions, is things that we are not able to see. Why are you watching this reading right now? Because you want clarity. There's always a part of us. It's our human nature to want to know how things are going to turn out. And this isn't something new. This has been around for, ages. Astrology, right? Looking to the stars, looking to the moon, to, the planets. This is something that is a strength that we as humankind can always rely on, is knowing for one thing that change is something that's always constant. But when you have the moon showing up as something to always rely on, what this means is we're always going to feel fear. And they're saying, look at the themed cards. Okay, look at the themes. Oh, okay. So we have here release. We have release showing up with these angel wings. How beautiful is that? Oh, that's why I'm going to read to you, because this can be the card of illusion. And we actually have the word false illusion on this card. So that's why it says here, by releasing what is no longer meant for you, you give up the false illusion of control. I want you to sit with this, collective. By releasing what is no longer meant for you. Remember, this is a strength you can always rely on in this lifetime. So many people get scared by this moon because the moon can be fears. It can be uncertainties. It can be something that's hidden from view. It's our own shadow, right? I don't know about you, but sometimes I can be in a spooky house and my own shadow can scare me, right? So sometimes we fall into the illusion trap that something is what it is not. And it says here, you give up the false illusion of control. And maybe control has been something you've struggled with. And it says here, when we give that up, when we give the false illusion of control up, we gain something much bigger. Allow the magic of the universe to guide you. That is a strength that you can always rely on. Do we immediately dismiss the notion of the moon? A lot of times we do. We see it in readings and we immediately kind of shy back, just like that tower. We're like, I don't want to feel anxiety. I want to run away from that. I don't want to face it. It kind of reminds me of a show I've recently caught bits and pieces of. Yellow Jackets, I believe, is the name. And there's a wolf that's constantly in the shadows of the show, right? And this wolf brings a lot of anxiety. It brings a lot of fears. And sometimes this can be a lone wolf. Sometimes we hear, wolves in a pack. You've heard both of them before. But it almost feels like you're facing something here and you have the ability to face and overcome a fear. That is your greatest flex here. Use it. And like it says here on this card, and I love how Spirit said, look at the theme. There's the answer. And we see false illusion of control. Allow the magic of the universe to guide you. And that's what you've also done in the past. You've allowed that energy of the universe, Spirit, higher power, God, Goddess, whatever, again, your higher power you call, does not matter. As long as you trust, you call. It's here for you. Let's look at what is a strength that you're not aware of. What's a strength that you are not aware of, collective? Let's look. Ooh, look at you. A little bit, sometimes this can be, sometimes it can be, you know how to deal with stubbornness. Maybe it's because you've had to be stubborn yourself. This is boundaries. And again, they're saying, look to the themes, which we have. What do we have? Boundaries. So what is a strength that you're not aware of? And the reason why you're not aware is because some of you are bullheaded. I know I can be, right? This can be a strength of, we can be competitive. I mean, we, after all, are living in a very competitive, diverse world. And so sometimes that ego gets caught up in the midst of things. So what is a strength that you're not aware of? That you have the ability to set boundaries. You can be kind, collective, and still assert your boundaries. Boundaries build inner strength and confidence, and it's okay to honor your needs and values. It's actually loving. It's an act of self-love to create boundaries and to have clear ones. Because this Five of Wands, it's showing up in reverse, which is good because the Five of Wands is saying, you know when to apply yourself to drama. I know, and some of you are saying, Mel, who wants to be a part of drama? But sometimes we know that drama is unavoidable. We get caught up in it. But you also know how to set a boundary when you're the monkey in the middle, per se. Or maybe that's something that is a strength that you don't realize you have. But if you go deeper and explore it more, this could be something that could be one of your greatest flex, right? This Five of Wands is unnecessary conflict. It can also be criticism. So you dealing with constructive criticism, maybe that's a strength that you're not aware of, or even dishing out constructive criticism in a way that doesn't feel immediately like it's bringing drama to the table. But people who are not ready to deal with their own stuff, they may immediately throw up some sort of wall. And they may say, well, wait a second, collective is attacking me. I'm just going to either attack back or I'm going to put up a wall, where one of your greatest strengths you have is to say, well, wait a second, this can be constructive. This doesn't have to be a fight. This can be constructive. We can work together. This can be constructive. We can both find a boundary here, draw a line in the sand, and it doesn't have to be filled with anger, filled with, emotions that feel quite heavy or even disillusioned here. But you can do it in such a way that asserts who you are without control, without dominance. Do you realize that that's a strength that you have? Go deeper, explore that. You'll be glad you did. All right, what's a challenge that you may be facing at this time, or possibly you may be facing here in the near future? What is this? Ooh, right away. Six of Pentacles, generosity. Now, some of you are like, well, Mel, how is generosity? How is that a challenge? Well, sometimes we can be too nice. I know we've all heard it, right? You're too nice. You're too nice. You gotta put up a little bit of a boundary, right? We have boundaries here. Sometimes we can be people pleasers, and that can be an act here of being too nice, and that can actually lead to perhaps some codependencies. For others of you, maybe a challenge that you're facing with the Six of Pentacles is, again, I keep getting boundaries, and it goes back to what is a strength that you're not aware of. Explore this, what we just talked about with that Five of Wands, because it's showing up again here for you. Six, also 2026, this could be something that really helps you in the coming years. Now, if this is showing up as a challenge, it can be overgiving, codependency, establishing healthy boundaries. It can be that you don't have some sort of resource or help that you would truly like to have, because if you had this piece, things would feel balanced. And when we see this in reverse, sometimes it feels like you've given, but haven't received anything back in return. Sometimes the Six of Pentacles, this can be a gift even. It can be a gift from the universe. But you're like, I haven't seen it yet, Mel. It hasn't shown up in this material, financial, physical world. Is it ever going to show up? I've been generous with my time. When is the universe going to give back, right? And I feel like there can be a bit of victimization with this energy as well. Maybe even a little bit of like martyr syndrome. But what I'm getting mostly is boundaries, independence versus codependence, and knowing when to give and when to kind of not overgive. Because some of you, there may be an enabling. You may be enabling someone's negative or bad behavior. Okay. I mean, we're talking about a challenge. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. Or perhaps someone has done this for you and it's caused an imbalance in the relationship, or it's caused an imbalance within your career. Okay. Some of you may be the breadwinner, or some of you feel like you don't contribute. Where can you find balance? That's, I mean, depending on when you are watching this reading, typically you're watching it probably when it comes out, and we're in Libra season now, which is all about balance and harmony. Where can you find that in any and all areas of your life, especially partnerships? Okay, partnerships that have to do with your stability. Now, what kind of strength will help you manage this? And I certainly see that the boundaries are going to help, but we also have sisters. Some of you, maybe this is between a soul sister and you. It could be between you and a divine feminine, okay? Or it could be with you allowing yourself to be feminine. Now, it doesn't matter if you're female or male at all, but when we do not allow ourselves to receive goodness, that's a problem. That causes an imbalance, because that means that we project so much testosterone or masculine energy. And you may find that you gravitate towards either being more masculine or more feminine at times. Maybe you have a strong, bolder, action-oriented personality, and sometimes you may feel more like you are that nurturing, caregiving, right? Think of Emperor versus Empress energy. Which one do you fall into, regardless of female or male? And what I am getting here with this Soul Sisters is it says, when you rise, you take another with you. So what kind of strength is going to help you manage? Be the best version of yourself each and every day for you, because that's automatically going to heal and help some of you ancestral healing, including family, including sisters, including your tribe. Celebrate the sacred energy of your spirits, right? And your femininity, your sisters. We raise each other up to expand our individual highest soul calling. And so I feel like some of you, this imbalance between the masculine and feminine within yourself is creating a bit of a struggle here for you in the material world, maybe even a block with you financially. And so let's see here, what kind of strength is going to help you manage this? What kind of strength? And then we have your final outcome here. What kind of strength does the collective need to help you save yourself, right? Somebody save me for myself. But what piece of you, what do you need? Oh, wow. This is interesting that you had the Soul Sisters coming in, or that Divine Feminine, because look at the Three of Wands here. The Three of Wands shows a beautiful little child, right? A little girl, the beginning of life. And then we see a wise elder. We see her all grown up. So what kind of strength will help you face your challenges and difficulties is, for one, embrace the energy of life's renewals, which is life and death. It's the scorpionic energies, which we are coming into Scorpio season. Again, these are timeless. If you're watching it out of Libra or Scorpio season, dive into those energies. Because the Three of Wands is manifestation. It is about you taking a look at your soul's path and your soul's journey. Some of you have the ability, I feel like we all do, but some of you have the ability to really tap into your Akashic records, your divine blueprint. It goes back to trusting in yourself, trusting in your intuition, and knowing that even at times it feels as if you're not as intuitive, or you're not able to tap in, and you're like, wait a second, where'd you go? There's the footprints in the sand, right? Sometimes it's that very moment that brings you back to yourself. Sometimes we need to get lost to be found, right? Not all that wander are lost, but I feel like that is a key ingredient to kind of finding and coming back to who you are. Through the ages, with this refresh, you have the ability here to hit that refresh button. When things get jammed up, right? You've all got jammed up on the computer or on your phones, right? What do? You hit that refresh button. because it's like it's just been rolling and rolling and spiraling. And some of you may feel like you're on autopilot. Some of you feel like you've been that spinny on your computer screen saying, it's just going in circles. And you're like, okay, when is this going to refresh? I've hit refresh 17 times. Now, the Three of Wands as your greatest strength here is possibly exploring the choices that you have, because you're in a manifestation mode where success is but a move away. Don't hesitate. Don't stop right before you get to the good, juicy stuff. Yes, it's going to feel overwhelming at times, collective. Yes, it's going to feel like you have to grab that extra strength within you. And some of you, you're anticipating even. You could be anticipating the worst, right? Some of you, you're anticipating something that may happen that won't, right? It's part of the fear here. It's part of the illusion. And that may be why we need to release. I'm going to read that back to you again. Give up false illusion of control. Give up false illusion of control. That's something that holds all of us back. All of us. That's why we have things going on around the world that we have going on. False illusions of control. You're a manifester. You have been from the very moment you took your first breath into this earth, right? You've gone through a lot. You are wiser now than you ever have been. What kind of strength is going to help you manage it? First of all, taking a look at how history has played out within your own life. And what do you not want to see play out again? And what do you want to see more of? So taking a good inventory of your life story, of who you are, the goodness and the beauty in your own heart, the wisdom that you've gained along the way. The Three of Wands is also about expectations. It can be about sometimes having expectations that are not achievable, right? Not achievable. And the reason why I say this is because some of you, this is going to help you down the road, is to reevaluate some expectations that you have, because they could be based in some sort of false illusion. Collective, if you have an expectation that, well, this will get better when this person changes. Scratch that. False illusion. Not going to happen. Right? If you have an expectation that this person is going to enter into your world and they're going to hit every single box and everything is going to be the best it's ever been, scratch it. False illusion, because you're still going to have those ups and downs. Are they going to check a lot of boxes? Yes. But is there going to be some things to work through? Absolutely. And for some of you, you may have this maybe perfectionism or this concept that feels way over here. It feels very much based in some sort of fear, because what it may mean if we attract this energy and they don't tick all the boxes, maybe it means that we have to look at a part of ourselves, and maybe that's scary to do. Maybe it may have us facing something deep within us, deep within our subconscious, deep within our own beliefs. Maybe it brings us back to, why we didn't feel worthy enough in the first place, or, something here that we struggle with. Because sometimes the moon is subconscious beliefs. But this is you trusting your intuition. This is your greatest strength here. What is the strength that you can always rely on? Your intuition. Even when choices have been made that have steered you in a direction. Maybe it was ego. Maybe it was a manifestation that we had created out of fear, right? It doesn't mean that your intuition, and sometimes you've doubted it, right? And you may say, well, Mel, when I've doubted the intuition, yeah, that happened. But maybe you needed to go through that experience. And so can you see everything that you've gone through? This is your final outcome, the Three of Wands. Everything that you've gone through from the very beginning to where you're at now. And can you see it as learning opportunities, not failures, not regrets? I don't believe in regrets. I really don't. Yes, there are things that have been spoken harshly or things that, I could have done differently, but I wouldn't know unless I had gone through that, right? Because we only We're only as good as we are good with what we know, right? Once you know better, you're able to do better. And I want you to not be so hard on yourself, collective. Some of you are so very hard on yourself. And your final message here is rise. You have the rose. Life is full of roses, but life is also full of thorns because every rose has its thorn, right? A seed needs the dirt to push against to grow to its fullest potential. Walk through this moment you are in. Trust that this situation is supporting your growth for the highest good. Trust that this situation, right, whatever challenge that you are currently facing, I want you to take notes if you can, or save this in your archive. And I want you to even look at some of these strengths and explore them on a deeper level, because some of you are like, yeah, I don't know how that makes me feel, Mel. I don't know if I appreciate that. Maybe I dismissed this one, or maybe I didn't see it from that angle. How does this truly make you feel? Because you have some feels showing up here. You have some feels showing up. And with your outcome as the Three of Wands, you are a step away from manifesting something quite beautiful. And I feel like it is the sweetness of the rose, because you've gone through a lot of that thorn. You are saving yourself here, collective. You have everything that you need within you. And remember, you are the divine. You are the spirit. You are that spark. That is what I have for you, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If the messages resonate, please hit that thumbs up button. It certainly helps get the divine channeled messages out there to those that need it most. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell. And thank you again, collective, for tuning in today. And I am sending you lots of love.